So guys, completing one more point with a sigh of relief and moving on to the last point in the second house episode, and it deals with, as you can see it here, it says it is the house of ancestors. Yes, second house is the house that represents the ancestors. But again, there's a misconception in the minds of the people. Most of the Vedic astrologers associate this second house only with the ancestral land and property. But no, it does not it does not only just signify the ancestral land and property. It could represent anything that you have picked up from your ancestors. For example, it could be a trait, skill that you have picked up from your grandparents or from your ancestors. It could be the cultural or the traditional values that you have that have become a part of your personality since you were very attached to your ancestors, who might have instilled in you these cultural and the traditional values. And since this is the house of ancestors, so people who have this house very strongly placed, they might go into the professions. They might go into the professions that has to do something with the what their ancestors were doing, or something to do with the professions that are continuing from from thousands of years back. For example, many of these people could be, if they have association of the second house with the 10th house of the profession, only then these things could be possible. 10th house is the house of profession. So if this second house and 10th house are related in some way or the other, which we'll discuss later, how we actually figure out that whether there is any relation between the second house and the 10th house of that individual, and if that second house of that individual who has both these houses related to each other, and if he has this second house of his well placed, then he could go into the professions like cattle, poultry farming, anything to do with the fishing, or even he could go into the professions that he may carry on the ancestral legacy of his family. For example, if he is a person who has closely watched his grandparents or his father indulging in the business of gold, then there is a strong inclination that this person might go into a profession related to gold. He may not go into the trading of gold as his ancestors were doing, but certainly he could go into a profession that has to do something with the gold or the gems or jewelry. For example, it could make him a jewelry designer. Of course, since he was closely watching his ancestors dealing with gold, this is the point from where he picked the fine skills as to what kind of the preferences people have when it comes to buying the jewelry, and how the gems need to be cut at the precise angles that makes them look very beautiful. Or what else? Or if in this similar scenario, what you could do is that you could take care of your ancestral land and property. You could give it on lease and have the money flowing in your pocket from the ancestral land or property that you have given on lease to any individual, or you may sell off the ancestral land and property that came to you, and from that money that you got by selling the ancestral land, you could start up a business of your own. And it could be that you might have picked any skill trait from your grandma or your grandfather, and although your grandma was just doing it for her hobby, but since you were so attracted to what she was doing, let's suppose if she was good at weaving, you could pick up that weaving skill from her, or if she was good at cooking, then you could actually learn from her the authentic and the traditional way of cooking a particular delicacy. And so you may start a restaurant of yours, or you may start a fashion chain of yours, in which you make sure that the delicacy that you are serving to your customers, or the clothing that you are manufacturing for your customers is made the way the clothing used to be made, or the delicacies used to be prepared the age-old way. And this alone might give you a niche in the restaurant business, since you are making the things the way they used to be done, the old traditional way. This fact that you are bringing those old herbs, spices, or the traditional way of weaving into your profession, this alone could be the USP of your restaurant or your fashion business. It was those. And you want any more examples, or you fucked up with them? Anyways, I tell them, even if you're fucked up, so it doesn't make any difference. I am a person governed by my free will, and hardly do I pay attention to to what you people say. Of course, I would take your viewpoints into consideration, but a person should always do what his heart actually, his conscience, what his conscience actually tells him. So I'll give the example, and this is something that I am obsessed with. So for all you KFC lovers, you might have heard of the name Harland Colonel Sanders, who was the brainchild, who was the entrepreneur who started the KFC chain. And you know why this KFC chain became so big? Well, I have read those marketing stories when I was studying the MBA programs. I have literally, what I might be telling you in 1 or 2 minutes, I have spent literally months reading that book of his, or the marketing, how that KFC chain grew. But I'll just tell you the gist of it. The second house of Harland Colonel Sanders had his second house was related to the 10th house. And when he started that KFC chain, there was a belief in the people that people used to hate the street food, or the food that was served in any place outside the home, because any food that was served at the street, or at any shop in those times, when he started his street chain, he started from selling the chicken at the streets. So back then, any such street food was considered to be very unhygienic in nature. So what he did was that he, in order to just rub off the concept that the street food is bad, he wanted to rub off that concept from the mentality of the people, and therefore he decided to base the TRP of the street food. I should not say TRP, but the USP of the street food that he was selling, by marketing his products, telling that these are the chicken that I am serving is made by the age-old authentical methods that are that vouch for the fact that the chicken I am serving you people is very hygienic and full of proteins. And the chicken that he was serving was based on a rare blend of 11 herbs and spices. A rare blend of herbs and spices what his ancestors used to cook the food with, to use the chicken with. And this is the fundamental. This was a platform that gave KFC a niche. And although the raw meat remains the same, you may have raw meat served. I could also start selling raw meat, or I could also make meat or any of the meat products or the chicken products and sell it in the market. But why many of the companies worldwide over are not able to match KFC when it comes to the non-vegetarian food? It's because of the fact that that KFC recipe, which is based on the rare blend of the 11 old herbs and spices, remains and those 11, that recipe that includes the 11 old herbs and spices remains even a mystery to the other companies that are into the similar food chain. So these are the kind of professions that are seen if somebody has a relation with the second house and the 10th house, and if he is very close to his ancestors, like is seen from the second house. So guys, wrapping up with the second house episode, which was very long, but and it was but it was mandatory for me to tell you all those things.